Hello everyone, welcome to Ignition. In today's video I'm going to be showing you my little tip to get the centre console out of your Jeep JK. Okay, so this video is going to be sort of a follow-on to the last one, but I'm going to do a little bit more in depth this time, because on the last video a couple of people have mentioned that I didn't describe and show how I took the brakes apart in depth enough. So in this video I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to be reinstalling the armrest and centre console, funnily enough, in this one. So it's the same order, just reversed. So today I've got to be taking the brakes off. This is the technique. So the caliper comes off, rotor comes off, and then underneath your handbrake components are all released, and you can stretch them as such without stretching the cable. It's not to be yanking on the handbrake to break your cable. You don't want to stretch it. It's stupid when this would take 5 minutes of your time. So enough of the talk, I think I'll crack on. Okay, so the first port of call is to remove the two bolts on the calipers. This is behind the rotor, and there's one at the bottom here and one at the top. Now these are usually done up really tight, so you might need a breaker bar on these. It can be quite tricky. There we go. Breaker bar didn't fit, but this does. So I'm going to have to swing on it. Luckily I've got a bit more room. And now before I take that all the way off, I'm going to prepare a bungee cord. You could use long cable ties to attach this brake caliper up out of the way. So I'll show you how I do that now. So there's a few holes on the chassis which I'm just going to use as reference points to hang up this caliper, because the brake line, we don't want to get any tension. You don't just want to leave it hanging on the brake line, as it will cause damage to the components and could rupture the line. So what I'm going to do is just put a hook around here and the rear sway bar twice. Get some stretch on that and just hook it through there like so. And now you can see it's just hanging, but there's absolutely no tension on the brake line. Okay, now the next step is to get off our rotor. Now, depending on how long your rotors have been on, they could be slightly stubborn, so you might need to hit them with a mallet. These have just been put on actually a few weeks ago, so hopefully they should be loose. And off they come, just like that. So I'll repeat this on the other side and I'll show you inside the car. So now you join me back inside the Jeep. So I've got the centre console here which has to go back on. Now like I said, if you were taking this off, it would be exactly the same order but reversed. Your centre console would be completely installed. You'd take the brakes off and the handbrake now is able to get out of the way for you to take the console out. So it's an exact reverse order. As you can see, it goes all the way up and doesn't stop. So it can go nigh on vertical. The centre console comes in. Okay, so I'm going to bring the front in almost vertically, as you can see, to get the levers over. Now it's the handbrake. So the gear selector, I have it in neutral at the moment. I'm going to put it into park. As you can see, it's limiting me here. Now I can slide it that little bit further forwards, pull the handbrake up, and we're in. You don't want to keep the handbrake up there too long, because it is past its regular order. But once this slots back in, it's game on. So that sums it up. Hopefully you found this helpful. I went obviously a bit more in depth on the brakes, but I think it's a really good technique and I can't find it anywhere on the internet. So hopefully you found it useful, and I'll catch you in the next one.